So hello guys, welcome to my channel, and today we are continuing our photosynthesis lecture from where we left. Today we will be covering photorespiration as I have told you that I told you in the previous lecture that photorespiration is a wasteful process in which the O2 from the atmosphere binds with RUBP instead of CO2, and in this process ATP get lost and the fixed carbon get lost in the atmosphere. So carbon dioxide does not get fixed here, and instead of fixed carbon get lost. So it is a very wasteful process for plants, and also ATP is used. Okay, and in this photorespiration process does happens in C3 plants, and in C4 plants this photorespiration does not happen. So we will be continuing this lecture from the photorespiration. Okay, so what I have told you that RUBP binds with carbon dioxide in presence of Rubisco enzyme and give rise to 2 into 3 phosphoglyceric acid. This reaction takes place in the normal condition. This is normal condition. Okay, and and you will be surprised to know, I am telling you a fact here, that this Rubisco is the most abundant enzyme or enzyme and protein in the whole world. Okay, so this rubisco is the most abundant protein present in the whole world, all over the world. And here is another thing which comes in the biomolecules chapter. You may know, i am I am telling you this as a short note, that that collagen is the most abundant protein in the animal world. Okay, so in the whole world, what is the most abundant protein? That is rubisco. And in the animal, and while we will be talking about animal world, then that is the collagen is the most abundant protein in the animal world, and in the whole world that is rubisco. It is a very important information you have to take in mind. Okay, so while continuing photorespiration, I have told you that RUBP in normal condition bind with CO2 to give rise 2 into 3 VPGA, that is 3 phosphoglyceric acid. This is the normal condition, and this rubisco enzyme has much more affinity towards CO2 than O2. Okay, so this rubisco enzyme has much more affinity towards CO2 than O2. You know it. I have told you in this previous slide. So what is important thing here, that our atmosphere contains 0.04% of CO2, 0.04% of CO2 and 20% of O2. So that means CO2 is less in the atmosphere. but this enzyme binds with CO2 mostly to succeed the photosynthesis. So that means this Rubisco enzyme has more carboxylase activity than the oxidase activity. That means the Rubisco has much more affinity towards CO2 than the O2. Okay, so this statement is already verified. Okay, so and here is another interesting thing that binding of Rubisco with CO2 is competitive. That means this O2 and CO2 competes to each other to bind with Rubisco. Okay, so that means that means O2 competes with CO2 to bind with Rubisco. Okay, so if you don't know about competitive inhibition or competitive binding, I will be explaining in a very short in very short. Suppose this is the enzyme Rubisco. Okay, Rubisco. Okay, and it is the substrate. It is the substrate A, that is CO2, and this is the substrate B, that is O2. Normally the CO2 binds with this position, with this active site of the enzyme. This yellow side here is the active site of enzyme, active site of enzyme, or binding site with enzyme, whatever you may call. Normally this CO2, that is A, binds with this site, but when the relative concentration of this O2 is high in the atmosphere, this B competes with A, and this B also can bind in this site. So if B binds in this site, that means A cannot bind with this site. That means here photorespiration occurs. Okay, if this B binds with this active site, then the photorespiration occurs. That means O2 is binding with the enzyme Rubisco. Okay, so that then the photorespiration occurs. So what is there are some characteristic of competitive inhibition. So I can tell presence of O2, presence of O2 inhibits CO2 to bind with enzyme Rubisco. Okay, so I can tell O2 acts as an inhibitor here. So I am dragging you from the photorespiration to the biomolecules chapter, to the competitive inhibition, and and many of you may think that we will read in this in this topic in the biomolecules. But let me tell you, dear friends, that if you understand this topic with a proper example that is here, then you will be you will be you will know this topic. And in the biomolecules, you do not you 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 do not need to read this topic in this biomolecule. You have already know from this example. You will already know this topic from this example. Okay, so I am telling you this right now. Okay, so so let's let's take a graph here. Okay, let's take a graph. This is a graph, and in the y-axis we have put a rate of reaction, and in the x-axis we have put substrate concentration. Okay, so we find this type of curve. Sorry. So we find this type of curve, this type of curve in absence of inhibitor. Okay, absence of inhibitor, that means no O2 is present. The absence of inhibitor, that means in the atmosphere there is no O2 and only CO2 is present in case of photosynthesis. Then this type of curve we will get in the photosynthesis. It has substrate is CO2 concentration, absence of inhibitor is O2 here. Okay, and we will get this type of curve in the presence of inhibitor in case of competitive inhibition. This is in the presence of inhibitor. Okay, so in this yellow curve you will notice that after a particular substrate concentration, let's assume that is S naught, the reaction rate reaches its maximum value. So it is the Vmax. So it is the Vmax. Okay, so this substrate concentration, this S naught, this is the S naught in which the rate of the reaction reaches its highest value. Okay, so this corresponding substrate concentration is, it is S naught, and the value of the rate of this reaction, that is the velocity of reaction, here is maximum. If we increase the concentration of S naught after this point, then the Vmax, then the velocity of the reaction or the rate of reaction will be constant after this point. Okay, so you will notice that in presence of the inhibitor, this Vmax also does not change. Okay, in case of competitive inhibition, so this is presence of inhibitor, that is competitive. You will know in this next chapter that there is another competition, that is non-competitive inhibition, that is different from this competitive inhibition. But in case of competitive inhibition, this type of curve is present, and the Vmax of the reaction does not get changed. Okay, but here is a thing, look at this. So the corresponding substrate value in case of competitive inhibition, here the reaction reaches its maximum value, that is of Vmax, is greater than the corresponding substrate value in absence of inhibitor. So this is, suppose this is S not dashed. So here is the thing, that the corresponding substrate concentration, the corresponding minimum substrate concentration for the Vmax is more in the competitive inhibition than the than in the absence of inhibitor, that is, i.e. S naught dashed is greater than S naught. So what I am trying to say is, in the presence of inhibitor, the substrate concentration we need to reach the reaction rate to its maximum value. Look, this is Vmax. So in the presence of inhibitor, to reach this Vmax, we need a minimum amount of S naught dash concentration of the substrate. And in the absence of inhibitor, we need a minimum concentration of S naught of substrate to reach the peak value of the reaction. But in the presence of inhibitor, this peak value of the substrate, this minimum value of the substrate to achieve the highest rate of reaction is more. Because of what? Because of the presence of inhibitor. This statement is verified that CO2 and O2 competes with each other to bind with the enzyme. So here, to achieve the Vmax value, we need more concentration of CO2. This explains this curve. Okay. And in this type of, and in case of competitive inhibition, the Vmax is same. Look, this Vmax, or the maximum velocity of the reaction for both in presence of inhibitor and in absence of inhibitor is same. But to achieve this Vmax of the highest velocity of the reaction, we need more substrate concentration in the presence of inhibitor. This is the point. This is the first point which I have explained this point. The second point, I have told you that in the competitive emission, the Vmax is same. Okay, always same with respect to absence of inhibitor. Okay, so clear? There are various topics here. The Michelet concentration, in case of competitive emission, I will be taking later. I will be talking it later in the chapter biomolecules. Okay. So in the next slide, our actual process of photorespiration begins. So in presence, so in this slide, this is whole thing here. This whole thing here. this whole thing here is about competitive inhibition. There are other points, important points of competitive inhibition also, but we will be talking about in the chapter biomolecules. Okay, for now you just know this, and because this is an example of CO2 and O2 with the enzyme Rubisco. I hope you understand the previous topic or previous slide. So in this slide we will be talking about the actual process of photorespiration in which IUPAC binds with O2. IUPAC is a 5 carbon compound binds with O2 in the presence of Rubisco enzyme, and it gives rise to phosphoglycerate, which is a 3 carbon compound, and phosphoglycolate, which is a 2 carbon compound. Okay, and in this photorespiration no ATP produced, rather ATP is used, and here fixed CO2 get lost in the atmosphere, and these two attitude of this process and these two harmful things of this process makes photorespiration a extremely harmful process for plant. Okay, so here's an important point that in photorespiration various organelles of cells, various cellular organelles takes place. Which organelles will be photorespiration? Various organelles participate in the photorespiration. Which are the organelles? Namely, look, chloroplast, this is one. The second organelle which participates in this photorespiration is peroxisome. The third organelle which participates in this photorespiration is mitochondria. So there is an easy trick to remember. So the sequence of organelles is 1, 2 and 3, and this is the exact sequence of the photorespiration. The sequence is also same. First comes chloroplast in the picture, then peroxisome comes in the picture, and at the last mitochondria comes in the picture. So this is the sequence also. Okay, so you have to remember the organelles in the sequence which I have told you, 1, 2, 3. You have remember the organelles in the sequence of 1, 2, 3. First chloroplast, then peroxisome, then mitochondria. There is a trick. If you are Indian, then you know. So this trick will be useful for you. C means chai, that is tea in the Hindi. Peroxisome, pani, that means water. Chai, pani, and mitochondria, mehman. Mehmans mean guest. Mehman. Okay. So chai, pani, mehman. That means we have to give chai, pani to mehman. This is just a trick to remember these organelles. Chai, pani, mehman. Plus peroxisome and mitochondria. And this CO2 is lost. CO2 is lost in CO2 is lost in chloroplast and peroxisome. Fixed CO2 is lost in chloroplast and peroxisome. And here 25% of fixed CO2 get lost. It's lost. Get lost. Gets CO2 is lost in this process. This is a very important thing to remember. Okay. And I have told you in the previous lecture that C4 plants have built-in mechanism to increase the concentration, CO2 concentration at the enzyme site. Okay. So at this point I have already told you in the previous lecture that C4 plants C4 plants have mechanism to stop photorespiration by increasing the concentration of CO2 in the bundle sheath cell. Okay, so that the carboxylase activity of the Rubisco enzyme get maximized. And you may know it that C3 plants only show photorespiration. Okay, and the C4 plants have mechanism to stop photorespiration by increasing the concentration of CO2 in the bundle sheath cell. And I have one point which I have forgot to mention, that this photorespiration is also known as C2 cycle. C2 cycle. Okay, this photorespiration is also known as C2 cycle. You have to remember, if the question comes in the name of C2 cycle, you have to remember they are talking about photorespiration. Okay, this is a very important thing. Yeah, this photorespiration is also called as C2 cycle. Photorespiration also called as C2 cycle. Okay. Wait a minute. Okay. Wait. So in the next lecture we will be covering the okay. So in the next lecture we will be covering the factors affecting photosynthesis.